What's up everybody, it's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video back in Planet Coaster with Westwood, and in this episode we're going to be working on the second scene of the dark ride that we just started in the last episode, and we're also going to be filling in some gaps here and there in the mining town and stuff like that. So go ahead and get ready for the ride. So in the second scene, it's pretty much going to be like a dark cave that you're going to be traveling through. So it's this next straight section here. So it's mostly going to consist of just rock work around it, and that's about it. I had to adjust the track that goes above this track because it was too low, and it actually did behead some test dummies, so that was not very fun. So it had to be a little bit taller, but nonetheless it worked just fine. It worked out just fine. So we're going to be working on just a lot of rock work in this scene, and there's still going to be like a bandit or two on the inside, and a couple of special effects as well that will make the scene just pop out a little bit more and more, just so there's more to it. So this is going to be like a little cave that you travel through. Again, most of it's going to be traveling through it is a canyon, and you enter this cave that you find, and pretty much there's more bandits and bad guys around here as well. So as for the next section is going to be one of the larger scenes because there's a lot of open area that I'm going to be able to work with on the next scene. As you can see right behind this scene, there's so much open space next to that track that I'm going to be able to create something really cool, hopefully, and a very large room, and we'll see how that goes. I kind of want to create almost like a miniature town in the next scene that, you know, is overrun by bandits, and like maybe like a building's on fire or something like that. It's just something cool that you know, that the bandits are kind of taking over and they need to be caught. So something interesting like that, you know, have the wanted posters everywhere and all that sort of good stuff, and I think that will be actually really neat. So it's when I say little town, it's just going to be like a little facade of buildings around, and maybe even like a dock or something, almost like it's by a lake or something. I don't exactly know. I haven't planned too much into it, but that's going into the next scene. This scene is what we're focusing on, so this scene is going to easily be just the cave, pretty much, that you're going to run through. It's going to be pretty dark in this section of the dark ride, so I want to make sure there's at least one section that is pretty much pitch dark, and while going through it, and maybe I'll have it on a curved section or something like that. I think that'd be really, really neat, you know, and just kind of have like all these eerie sounds and stuff like that. So that would be kind of neat to have, I think, in that section. So this episode's not anything too special. When we get into the next episode, we'll most likely be getting into the large section over there behind this scene. So the next scene is going to be a lot better, in my opinion, and I think it will definitely be better. Of course, this scene's kind of a boring scene. It's nothing too fancy. It's just kind of a filler scene. You know, going through the cave, but it's still going to be very cool, I think, you know, having this cave that you're running through. And I decided to put like these metal supports here, and thought it would be kind of neat to have, to kind of give me an idea of where the kind of the lowest point should be for these rocks and stuff like that. So I gotta be mindful of what's going on above as well, because there's also another track that's later in the ride that goes above this track. So I got to be mindful of figuring out what's going to be in that scene as well, or it's going to be kind of like another filler scene, I think, whatever it's going to be, and I think it will be all right, and we'll figure it out once we get there. Again, you know, what's mostly planned is the storyline and stuff like that. Not a whole lot planned for what every single scene is going to consist of, and I got some ideas for certain scenes, but there might be some filler scenes in there that I'm not entirely sure what they're going to be yet. So it's still planned, but at the same time, there's some certain tiny spots that may not be planned, if that makes sense. So anyways, this gets enclosed, and we're ready to move on to the next scene after that. We don't get it into this episode, so just so you know, that'll probably most likely be in the next episode, where we will actually get into the large scene. As you can see, the large scene is going to be the middle section of this entire thing. So that will actually be really cool, and I could actually add something quite big on the outsides as well if I wanted to, because I have more space to work with out there. So this is going to be a really cool dark ride. I think it will be really neat and exciting, and after I get it all figured out and sorted out, I think it will actually look really good, nice in the long run, because right now it's obviously completely incomplete, and it's going to take some time and probably quite a few episodes to finish this dark ride, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And the next section of the park, after we get through the mining section, we're actually going to be working on the ghost town section. After the mining section, there's 2 other sections that need to be worked on after this, and that's actually the mining section, the ghost town, and the invention company section. So I was testing out what these doors really do, and I didn't know, I've heard that you need them to actually make it dark on the inside, but I'm not sure, because it's still not dark on the inside just with the buildings, so I think you have to use the terrain to go over the top and actually use those to make it dark, but I'm not 100% positive. I heard people have told me no, and I'm just gonna have to test it out and see what happens. Either way, I will figure it out in the end, and that'll all be okie dokie. So I wanted to make this large sign here to let everyone know that you're entering the mining section, and I got a lot of trial and error here of what I really wanted to work up with, and I wanted to make, at first I started making words out of these wooden planks, and they didn't work very well for me, and I decided to change it up a little bit, and actually the end result actually turns out really nice. I don't actually end up going with like these wooden planks, and I really, like, at the end afterwards, I'm like, I don't really like the looks of that. The S kind of looked terrible and large, and almost pretty much looks like a 5. And I wanted to make sure there's plenty of room to, that says mining company, because it's going to be saying, the sign's going to say Westwood Mining Company, or Mining Co. rather, and that's actually how it's going to look. And as much as I wanted to have kind of like this weird, these wooden planks or something spelling out the words, it didn't work out too well, and what I'm actually doing here is actually looking for smaller planks that would work, and I was like, oh, these will actually work quite nice, and so I tried these as well, and I still didn't really care for it, and it made it a lot easier, but I still didn't care for these either, so I decided to go ahead and go with normal signs, and I think it turned out the best, because I just wasn't feeling these signs very well. I didn't really care for them, and they just kind of looked dull, or I don't know what, they just looked unnatural in a way, I don't know. And then of course I messed up here, and I was like, well, the D's not even going to fit on here, and it looks really small, and it looks real dumb, so I decided to go ahead and get rid of all those as well. So the undo button only went so far back, so I had to go ahead and delete all those as well. But I went ahead and put this sign in here, but I was like, oh, that was probably the best one to put in there. And then of course could put a smaller sign that actually says mining company underneath it, and combine the two, and you'll see what happens here, and it's history. So that's what it actually turns out to be, the Westwood Mining Company's sign. And of course I'm so slow paced at making my stuff in this park that I know it can be a bit of annoying, but I think it's okay, because I want to make sure I get every single thing right, and a lot of people know that I'm a very slow builder when it comes to this kind of stuff. So that's the main reason why I'm doing time lapses and stuff, and I thought in the end this actually turned out to be quite a decent looking sign, and I thought it actually turned out pretty nice. And when people were walking through and they're like, oh, mining company, so we're in the mining section of the park and stuff like that, it'll be really nice, and people will appreciate it, I think. And you throw some scenery around there, and it looks really good, and you add some lighting for when it's dark and stuff, and it looks really good. So anyways, there's still a lot of gaps to fill, as you can actually see in the mining company section of the park. There's a lot of empty spots, and we're gonna have to fix all that. And as we went along, I decided to go ahead and fill in some gaps along the way here. So as you can see, just a lot of junk and stuff like that, goes well with the Western theme, I feel. And I think it goes a long way when you add like a lot of junk and like lanterns and of course TNT to make the mood a lot better for westerny type feel to it. So, and it looked quite good at night, so I was quite satisfied of actually how that turned out. So my next priority here was to actually build another building here. I was expecting to put more buildings in this section, but I was like, well, I don't have a lot of restrooms, so I thought a restroom would work very well in this spot as well, because, you know, those guests need a lot of restrooms. You never know, you know, when you gotta go, and you gotta make sure these are nearby throughout the park. Otherwise, your guests are gonna complain that there's no toilets and stuff like that. So, I'm not the greatest at making restrooms, but because you want to make sure there's no windows on them, and it's hard to figure out how to detail them in a way, because it looks very similar to the other one. And again, if I figure something out, I'll definitely come back and detail some of these buildings a lot more. And you know what makes them better? You just throw some foliage and trees around them, and it'll fix it. So that's always a good way to, you know, fix something that, you know, you don't know looks very nice. You know, maybe some trees and some bushes, of course, goes a long way. It really does go a long way, and I think it really does make it look good. So anyways, this section I just decided, well, we'll just go ahead and fill this in with trees and foliage, and it actually boosted the queue line for the whirly rig to 100%, so that's a good thing for that ride as well. So all the trees around it actually helped that queue line become 100% on queue scenery, which is actually really good. Now, after we move on to the ghost section of the park, which I actually cannot wait, that's actually one of the sections of the park that I'm very excited for, because that is actually where I'm planning on having the RMC coaster and just other things like that. That the ghost town, I think, is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be more targeted towards probably the teenager appeal, so it's going to have more thrill rides in that section. And then there's going to be the Inventing Company, which is another section of the park where it's going to have all these crazy contraptions and almost like a futuristic sci-fi feel. Not like sci-fi, but like westerny sci-fi, where, you know, it's an invention company where people can actually bring their stuff or inventions in, and, you know, they'll actually make it a reality. And if it's liked well enough by the invention company, they'll actually put it on the market for these guys and stuff like that. And that's kind of where, you know, the roller coaster that's going to go over there, that's going to have the B&M floorless coaster. It's going to be like a flying contraption that someone invents, and is a little scary, and the invention company's a little edgy if they want to actually use that or not. So, and then there might actually be one more section, a very small section, kind of like a carnival-ish style section, that will have a lot of, you know, gentle flat rides, and it'll be more of the family area that's not going to have a lot of flat rides. So that's another section I'm considering that's going to be over by towards the entrance as well. So yeah, and then I decided to go ahead and finish up this fence that goes over here, at least a little bit more. I don't think I go all the way, or do I? I can't even remember. On my own time lapse, I can't even remember if I actually built all that. I think I stopped right there. Yeah, that's it. And then went ahead and saved. So yeah, that's coming together quite nicely. As you can see, the mining theme is actually starting to come together. And then I was like, you know, this section right here, this spot right here, just needs a building of some sort. So I go ahead and I believe it's a Street Fox Coffee I placed down. Yes. It's actually a coffee spot, or a coffee place, and I thought it would fit real well there, you know, just having a lot of buildings throughout the park, and make sure that there's plenty of stalls and food stalls, and, you know, water or drink stalls and stuff like that. That way all the guests will be satisfied through the entire experience of the park. So that's definitely something that needed to be there. And I was also thinking of having a lot of walk-in gift shops as well, because I was actually planning to put a gift shop here at first, and I was like, nah, let's just stick with the coffee. You know, people like coffee. So I was going to put one of the signs there, but it says established like 1997 or something like that, or 1998. I don't exactly remember what it said, but I was like, well, I can't do that, so, because it is 1890s themed. So unless I could change the 9 to an 8, you know, that's not going to work out very well. So This is a very simple building. I kind of mixed it up a bit by using different structures on the walls for the top parts, and you know, I'm trying to experiment a little bit more with buildings because it is something I do need to do. But anyways, that is going to about do it for this episode, except for just a little bit more foliage, and that's about it. But let me guys know what you think so far of the park, and if you liked it, make sure you hit the like button, and yeah, subscribe for more Westwood or more Planet Coaster content here on JLW Games. So again, thank you guys so much. I want to hear your guys' comment and feedback in the comment section below, and I hope you guys have a great day, even cooler tomorrow, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.